Go. Welcome back, guys. Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. I'm George, and you know my man Casey right there. We are here to kind of give a little bit of a recap this week and see how everybody did. Hopefully, everybody had a good time out. I'm definitely glad to be at work on Friday and having my work screen up on one and then some type of bracket racing up on another, as there was a lot going on this week. So, Casey, what's going on, bro?
Man, same old, same old. Got to go racing this weekend. Had more trials and tribulations, which seemed to be totally my luck. Actually, blew a tire on the trailer on the way to the track on Friday. Friday. So that was the start of a uneventful weekend, to say the least. But went down to Galat. They ran a gamblers race on Friday night. I think I want to say there might have been 40 cars in it, actually. So it was pretty decent turnout for that on a Friday night. So anyways, got in that. Couldn't get on the tree, really. Thought I had determined why that was, then come around, got to like second round or something, and then lost. Just slow lights, basically. Couldn't find it no matter what I did to the box. Come back Saturday, I was double entered. Won first round and one, lost in the other, bought back in one, came into second round. I was 001 red, then added 5 in the box, and I was 17 red. And I'm like, man, what's going on here? This makes no sense, and I just can't understand. I mean, I've never varied that much in my entire life, like not from 17 to 1, but from negative 17 to, I think, 32 or something like that. I mean, that's like 50 numbers. I've never varied that much, and you'd have to try almost too. So long story short, we went through a bunch of hypotheticals as what could be going on, things like that. Took a video of the car whenever I was putting it on the two-step on Sunday in the driveway, and the car will actually almost set the suspension. In fact, if you look at the video that's on YouTube, I think that one, I don't remember if it's that one or another one, you can actually slow it down and see it, where it actually compresses the front suspension a little bit whenever you mat it on the two-step, which means it's just barely, like there's not enough fluid pressure to keep reverse and first together. So I don't know if something's wrong with the valve body or what, but we got a new one coming from TSR Racing. Should be here maybe Thursday. So you see the car in the background. This is a real background, by the way. This isn't one of those fake Skype backgrounds or whatever. The car's jacked up behind me. I got the pan off the transmission, so I'm going to swap a new valve body in it. I think it's going to rain this weekend anyway, so if I don't get it done in time, I don't think I'm going to miss anything. But we'll be ready for the following week, probably go to test and tune, see what happens, go from there.
Yeah, it sounds about like, definitely don't like to go to the racetrack after having everything done over the week. You're ready to go. The car's running great inside of the garage, and you turn up to the racetrack, and then something little as either a band adjustment, as we spoke about previously, kind of in other vehicles, or a plunger, or even the part that you're going to change out. Those little things bite us, especially the consistency side of it all. And I can vouch for you, Casey, man. You've been racing. I've been knowing you long enough. Varying that much. You sent me a text message when it happened, and I thought so myself. You don't generally vary that many numbers. And I asked you, I was like, did you flinch, Casey? And when you said no, that's kind of what got me to thinking, too. Maybe your car's rocking the beam or moving forward. Hey, good. Want us to give a good welcome to the show to Richard Lewis. Hey, man, thanks for chiming in. If you guys got any thoughts or comments on the matter, if you struggle with a car that's rolling the beam, not necessarily rolling completely through it, but when you set the trans brake, it gives you a nice little bump forward or backwards. We're going to discuss that in a little bit of detail. We might even come up with a little bit of a how-to once we get that solved, in order for you guys to be able to go back to it in the future. But yeah, Casey, man, the car was pretty flawless from what I could see. Other than that, and I can remember sending a text, "Hey, man, the car is under you. What's wrong, driver?" You weren't too mad at me, were you?
No, man, that was exactly right, and that's what I thought it was too. And I'm not one to make excuses about stuff, because I don't believe you can improve on anything if you're going to sit here and pretend something else is the problem and not figure out what the problem really is. But I felt it. I actually could feel the car every once in a while kind of surge forward. And I'm just like, man, what's going on? And I let go of the button and then I mat the gas. I don't get on it like Pro Stock does when both stage beams come on or anything. That's how I've always driven. Never been an issue before. And it is what it is. We'll get it figured out. And once we do, then we'll be good to go because the car's good to go. I know that.
Yeah, car was good, and you were racing that Galat, so I venture to say the track was probably had a little bit of bite in it as well. Did you pop any nice wheelies, or do you feel like the car stayed on the ground?
Oh, it's coming up maybe like 6 inches or something like that. But I was talking to another guy. He says I should actually adjust the shocks a little looser in the front, maybe have it keep up a little more. But I'm reluctant to do that because the car's running so good right now. And I honestly don't know that. I mean, it's like I said, this car's got iron heads on it. It's got 80 extra pounds at least on the front end than an aluminum head motor.
Yeah.
And I think the car would work better with aluminum heads, just if nothing else, just to get that weight off the front. And I'm sure any aluminum head's going to make more power than the heads I have on there. But,
sure.
It's really hard to change something whenever it's already working. You know what I mean? Other than the transmission side of things.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that too. And maybe some of our fans here might have a little bit of the same thought process. But if I can look at a time slip, and we are talking about going bracket racing. This isn't no prep kings or mega cash days to where I have to be the fastest in the world leading the line. I have to repeat the numbers. So if I can find a way to make my car do that, I don't care if it's running fat. Sometimes I'm kind of reluctant to lean it up a little bit because it's running perfectly. Of course, I don't want to run it to where there's danger to the motor. But, if it's doing a repetitive, if I'm able to repeat, just print time slips, and all I need to focus on from that point is, George, hit the tree and the car's going to be there, I'm going to feel real confident that day, barring the weather. I know that you went out on Friday, it ran one thing, and then Saturday it was like, what the heck happened here? Well, I'm pretty sure North Carolina threw you a curveball that day. But definitely get your thought process on not wanting to change that consistency. You make a change to the front end of the car, what's going to happen from there? It was definitely nice to get some pictures, and we're going to be coming up with some things here pretty soon. Casey took quite a few pictures. I saw you in a few other, maybe a website I think I saw you on that somebody caught you and Laura in a picture there. It was pretty neat. Where was Lucy? You didn't have her in the picture.
Yes, she was sleeping on the side of the trailer. No, Josh came up. He goes out to Kinston quite a bit and then comes to Goliad anytime they're open, kind of like what I do. And he came around. He, I guess, got him a camera. He's taking pictures. Took a lot of really cool pictures of a lot of cars, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, no, we've got some things going on here as far as lifestyle going on at the track. And if you guys got real nice pictures you'd like to post or like us to post a picture of your car at all times, just feel free to send that to us in our inbox. And we like shouting out nice cars and even not so nice cars. And especially if you turn on the wind light, which we're going to get into here in just a little bit. There just so happened to have been a wind light turned on more than once in big money bracket racing, which, hey man, hats off to you, man, young man. You done your thing. I watched probably every round you ran. So I sent an inbox to you in case you might want to come on and tell us what that was like. A lot of our viewers would like to know, hey, how does it feel to win not one night, but then turn around and win another night? And I think you had two cards down to some low numbers too. Mr. Michael Casey,
Michael Carpenter, isn't his name?
I believe that's his last name. And that kid, to tell you, he was on a tear, and that was very fun, very very entertaining to watch. And if I'm not mistaken myself, SFG paid all the money to locals that week. So I think, and I'm trying to remember her name too, but I think she was even from Florida, maybe just a little bit away there. So definitely. SFG recap. Did you get a chance to get your eyes on that? I know you were pretty busy this week with your own program.
Well, with going on Saturday and everything, Friday and Saturday, I didn't really have a ton of time to watch everything. But what I did watch was I watched Piedmont, quite a bit, and I caught the end. Oh man, speaking of wind lights here, we got the little nasty red chiming in, old Justin over there. Anyways, I'm sure he was glued to the Piedmont stuff, but they had a foot brake racing over there, man. And I'll tell you what, I think it was Saturday night. There was this little Opal. He was down to 3 cars. He was 2 of the cars.
Oh, wow.
But you know who the other one of the cars was Nick Hastings.
Oh, no.
And he beat him the one run, and then he beat him in the finals.
Oh,
but,
no.
So that's kind of heartbreaking. But, I mean, that car had to be on fire as far as hot lapping a door car, you know, down to where you're the last 2 of the last 3. I mean,
so that was the theme of the weekend. It seemed like I think I even saw oh my goodness, his name just seems to slip my mind right now, but he won the 525 for SFG, and I think
Gage?
Gage Birch. I think I seen him down racing himself with like 8 cars left or something. And
wouldn't surprise me. I think that's where he's from, is Braden.
He's from Florida for sure. I don't know exactly what area, but he's definitely from that area. And maybe it was a little home court advantage or home field advantage for him, but having 2 cars down, and I think it was the first 50 grander that I watched. That would have been Saturday. So he had 2 cars down. So this is pretty compelling. You know what I mean? People taking multiple colors down to it reminds me of somebody I know that might be part of going bracket racing. How about that, Casey?
Man, I tell you what, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, if you can have, first of all, obviously as many entries as you can get, that's the best option you have.
Sure.
Because the more shots you get, I mean, we all know what it's like. You hit the practice tree 10 times. If you just pretend you have 2 colors or whatever, if you just have one more chance, like the 5th time you hit it, you'll usually hit it 6 or 7 times more before you're red again or bad or whatever, you know?
Right.
So multiple entries is always the way to go if you can afford to do it. But the best thing you can do is on a 3-day weekend, if you can go deep on Friday, get your confidence up, get all those hits that no one else has, get everybody else maybe shaking a little bit, knowing that you just won the night before or went deep the night before. I mean, that means a lot on a 3-day weekend.
Sure, it does. You know, you got a head of steam going. You're doing quite a bit of lights. You're getting good. You're seeing where your car is. You got tickets from the 60 to the 330 telling you, hey, my rod is under me, or hey, my hot rod ain't under me. I better do something different. So the confidence boosting that comes along with that it has to be a huge advantage. In the chat, real quick, we got a comment. We're going back a little bit back to where we were talking about adding a little bit into the front end of your car there. Randy chimes in and he says, I've always heard the heavier you are in front end, the more front end travel you want to transfer the weight. You know, he makes a pretty good point there. You got anything to go along with that? Maybe heavier front end, more weight travel?
Well, let's see, what would that be? I decreased the ride height of the front the other day. And it ended up working quite a bit better. So there is a lot of truth to that. The only thing I'm worried about is I'm talking more of compression settings. I only have single adjustable shocks on both the front and the back. So that's just adjusting the compression, not necessarily the rebound.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I'm worried about is if I loosen them up, I'm on the 3rd softest setting on the front. And I think I'm saying this right for the front, but anyways, if they're QA1 adjustable shocks, just single adjustable shocks, which is pretty much what almost everybody has, vast majority. But anyways, I have them on 3 out of 18. And I've had a couple guys, in fact, Alan's in here right now. He was saying I should actually turn them down to maybe 0. And the only thing I'm worried about is, with all that weight coming down, is that going to make it kind of bounce?
Like a sailboat?
You know, and I'm asking. I mean, because I don't know. You know,
Gotcha.
We got Jeff Bonifield and Jerry's in here.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, we've got a little bit going on here now, and Gage Birch is from Palmetto, Florida. Thanks, Kevin Hoyt. Mr. Little's in here chiming in. Hey, how'd you guys do over at the Texas Two-Step? Did you get hit by any rain? I know it started to rain here in Sherman. Kevin White, and I know Kendall was driving the Black Panther from what I saw, and I didn't get a chance to see if he did any good that day, but that old car is looking pretty good, Kevin White. Definitely glad. Thanks for chiming in there. Um, but yeah, so I get your thought process, Casey, about you see some cars they leave the line, they pull the wheels, and then they're doing wheelies all the way up and down. Not necessarily wheelies, but that front
Well,
end's
they're
just
almost always,
riding.
that's a Vega thing for some reason.
Yeah,
They're always Vegas.
right. And the front end just rides. But definitely, and going back to what you said, it's especially if you hit a testing tune, I would at least try it at a testing tune. But when it's go time, seems to me that the blue car behind you is ready to rock as far as the consistency goes, and I don't think you can knock that with a stick, Casey.
Not really, man. We just got to figure out this transmission deal and figure out why it's just barely lurching forward. And I mean, like I said, I took the pan off. There's no clutch material in there or anything. No sign of anything being wrong with it necessarily internally. So that's why we're just kind of thinking maybe it's the valve body. And like I was telling you earlier, if all else fails, that is an expensive part. I mean, that's like $400 worth of parts.
Sure.
But I need a spare transmission anyway.
Sure.
So if worst comes to worst, if it's not the valve body, it's not like I'm just throwing money at it that I don't have anyway. But
Sure.
It's not like I'm just throwing money at it because I'll utilize that for a spare transmission if it turns out not to be the problem.
Absolutely.
And if all else fails, like Alan told me the other night, he was texting me. He's like, just wire in the line lock, and then it won't move.
True. So that's just another way to solve the issue of the car kind of moving on you. And that's throwing out definitely going to affect. If you guys don't know, if you're new to going bracket racing or bracket racing as a sport itself, any type of a rock or a shake into the beams, it's either going to put you more in the beams or pull you out of the beams. You definitely don't want to come out because you might catch that old red light, especially those of you who stage real shallow. So what we're talking about is the ability to hit the trans brake button and the car just sits still. We don't want it to go any forward or any backwards. We want that bad boy to just sit. Boom. Okay? When it's time to go, let go of that button. We want to be able to go down there and run dead on and have a chance at double O. You can't really have a chance to have consistent light if your car is bouncing back and forth. So definitely glad we caught it here and not at a 500 grander or something like that, Casey. So
yeah.
But no, I want to piggyback. Take a time off to say hats off to SFG. Hats off to you guys. I watched drag racing 3 days in a row, and I think I turned off drag racing at like 8:30 each night. That program ran seemingly flawless. So hats off to you guys on running a heck of a program. That was one heck of a race to watch. I know, Casey, you might have been chimed in or at least rewound to watch that no box series. Let's get into that a little bit over there. Was that at Piedmont?
Yeah, that was a Piedmont, man. And I'll tell you what, this is what the overall topic. This is why I even thought about this overall topic tonight was, which the big topic of tonight is the discussion is going to be, is a delay box a significant advantage like it used to be? Because from what I was seeing at Piedmont, the answer is absolutely not. I mean, there was one round, I think it was like, it might have even only been like second or third round on Sunday. And there was like 5 perfect lights that's just what I saw while I was watching it. And I'm telling you, this wasn't all of third round. This was just, I watched it for maybe 45 minutes before I had to go let the dog out or something and got distracted. But I mean, it's like, if you're doing that in a foot brake car, then in my opinion, you don't need a delay box. And the other side of that is you can run bottom bulb and top bulb in the same night
without having to make any switches. Generally, at all the big money races, no box are kept separate from top, which it gives a little bit of extra incentive to the no box guys. But is it an advantage? Is it, and instead of it being an advantage for top drivers, the advantage seems to be going to the no box guys. Who knows how many of those guys are showing up to race at some of these big races, but after they're done no boxing, they didn't roll into top. So you're 100% right. The no box cars are able to seemingly run both programs without having to make any changes. Now I know we have those fast connect, your ability to make a fast connect delay box where you can just pull it in, pull it out, put it on one big wire, unplug it, whatever you want to do from there, and pull the thing out, and then all of a sudden you're no box racing, right? We have the ability to do that, but so I think you're onto something though, as far as for is it an advantage anymore? Like right now, no box racers are taking care of business, and I've even been watching Kevin Pollard win at SFG with a no box car against the top
Mm-hmm.
car. So I think the advantage is smoothed out. At least there are a select few of drivers out there who you're at a disadvantage if you pulled up next to them. I don't care if they've got a box in their car or not. What do you guys think
Well,
out in the chat? I mean, you guys chime in if you've got any comments on how you feel about top bulb, top bulb leaving it with a delay box being an advantage or a disadvantage now, I should say, to foot braking or coming off of a button on the bottom.
Jeff said here, Jerry needs all the help he can get. I don't know about that, Jeff. Every time I've ever ran Jerry, he's plastered me on the tree, and I'm trying to just work him on the finish line, but he doesn't look at me. So he just knows he's going dead on, and I'm just going to make a fool of myself. Beats me every time. But then Justin says, right here, it's exactly my point. Nasty Nick doesn't need it. And here's my theory, George, right here, because like you said, you can just take the box out real quick. I mean, my car, I do that. I do that all the time, you know?
Right.
And, well, it's not all the time, but I do that a couple times a year. And it's just a trailer plug, unplug it, and it's got a jumper, and I can just, there we go, ready to go, no boxing. But my thing is that if you foot brake the whole time and you can get on the tree on the foot, if you're running top and bottom bulb at the same race and you're not taking your box in and out, you're not doing this one time and then you're doing it with your feet the next time. You're doing it the same way every single time. So you have twice as many hits on the tree as everybody else, right?
Effectively. And we've got a comment in the chat here. Dylan, Mr. Champion, he says a box is more of an advantage to be more consistent. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. Right now, I know that in some of those rounds of no box, people get away with 40 lights because the other guy was 60 or 70. But at the same time, that happens in top. Okay, so it's the inconsistency is all a matter of, yeah, I might have let go 40, but if my other guy's 40 right along with me, we're going to have a race regardless. It's the inconsistency, in my opinion, is coming from hoping that the other car is inconsistent at the same time that I am in this sense. But yeah, Kevinoid says box has the advantage because you have a bump up and a bump down. Now I'm gonna say that's a fact. There's no way to dispute that because half the time, as much as we race as bracket racing drivers, we've hit the tree enough times or are getting into the ability to hit it enough times to know when we're late. And my late is generally 20. So don't be shocked if I have 7, 8, 10 thou in my bump down. Because I know, oh man, that's 20. And I hit that bump. Now I'm 10. Okay. That's definitely a solid comment. Casey, what do you think? Solid.
Well, the other thing is that I kind of live by the theory of hit it the best time the first time, because it seems like anytime I try to hit that bump down, I mean, unless I'm like dead late and I know it, I'll usually, I don't know why it is, but every time I think I'm late, I'm about maybe perfect or right around there, just barely red, and I'm just going to bump myself more red. And I got the bump down in there, and I'm ready to go if I ever need it. But, I mean, I've rapid fired on it a couple times, but, man, I try to stay away from that, and I try to go by the theory of just hit it the best time the first time, be done with it.
Yeah, at the same time, you got it in there, though. So one day, I mark my word, one day you're going to hit it. You're going to be like, oh, crap, that's 30. And then you're just going to be pegging away at that bump down. And then you're going to come out and it's going to bite you or it's not. But 30, that's probably going to bite you in today's bracket racing. So I'm almost to the point to where I'd rather bump it red than be 30. Not really, because then I get a chance to go down the track and make something look different. But 30 30 at any SFG race or any other race for that matter, the Great American, I don't care what the spring fling, it doesn't matter. 30 generally does not slide through a round. You're going to have to
Nope.
really get the racing gods on your side, or hope the other guy went red, or hopefully you had a few numbers in your pocket and you dump him and make him do something ignorant at the finish line. That's about all you got. So
Yeah, pretty much, man. But man, I still stand by it. If I think that I think if you can get on the tree off the foot, the other thing is I'm fairly certain that I can't remember, I don't know if it's Brent Williamson or Brett Williamson, I don't know what his name is, but that real nice looking 57 Chevy, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, the black one, super nice foot brake car, runs every SFG race. Him and Nick Hastings can go 00 off the foot all the time, and I'm pretty sure that at SFG you can only have, like, say you can only have 2 entries in top, but they still let them enter 1 in bottom, I think. So you can have 3.
I don't have the answer to that. That's 3 entries,
that's
though,
true.
and I thought it was 2 entries per car. So I'm not 100% sure, and I can't comment on that one.
Maybe,
but that does
yeah,
give you a whole nother example, a whole nother a shot at it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. As far as for the names you mentioned, consistency, I don't necessarily see any issue because they're always seemingly somewhere on the ladder round or in the money. Like you said, I think you said was it Pollard? Did you say it was Pollard? It was Hastings. You said raced the guy twice, and the guy couldn't get around him. So I mean, hats off to you no box racers, and
well, Hastings was down to 3 at the Great American Million.
Right. So I mean, I think I do think that there are pros and cons to having a box in your car. Pros and cons. Actually, pros. I don't necessarily think that I'm, number one, consistent enough or good enough to bottom bulb. Number one, I've never done it except for in a little 4-banger street car. So yes, I have, I guess, swapped feet in a street car. And I come to think of it, I was 005 a couple times at Benton. So not patting myself on the back right now or nothing like that. but yeah, Kevinoid chimed in. It is 2 entries per car at SFG, and I thought that's what it was. So that would definitely be a little bit more of an advantage if it was that third entries, third entry plus 2 entries in top. That's like, oh my goodness, you ain't gonna stop me that many times.
Hey, can you blame me for messing that up though? Because you see those 2 cars so much.
Right.
I mean, you just figure that you just got a million of them,
It's true.
But man, the thing also though about foot braking, I guess could say, other than people like Kevin Pollard, most foot brake cars are generally going to be significantly cheaper than any top bulb car. If for no other reason other than the fact you don't have to buy it. I mean, the Mega 450 that's in my car, that's probably like $500.
That's true. It's true. At the same time, you chose the best one to single out, I think. Mr. Pollard, I think there's a 632 under the hood of that bad boy, if I'm not wrong. And that son of a gun
he's got a second car.
Man, it comes out of the box like a freight train, too. And I mean, to tell you, it always leaves a little dark smoke behind it. And I'm just like, dang, that son of a gun hauling the mail for a no-box car. Dylan chimed back in, Mr. Champion. We can just agree that Nick Hastings is a different breed. I agree.
Yes.
I agree twice.
That is the truth.
If there's 2 of me, that guy's definitely different. He hits the bottom better than most people hit the top consistently. So, yeah, there's just those select few drivers that we have in our sport right now that I don't care what they have. They can be on the top, they can be on the bottom. They're going to be on regardless. So, and Kevinoid, he chimes back in and he says, regardless of box or no box, you can't beat a lot of seat time. That's 100% fact as well.
That goes exactly with what Jeff just said here pretty much. The box is the equalizer sometimes. For the guys who don't make 25 to 40 hits on the tree a weekend, I'm just jealous of the traveling racer, I guess. That's why they're all good.
Well, you're making a good point. Hey, but to make 35 or 40 hits in one weekend, man, you're doing some winning. You're turning on some win lights. your ability to say I'm confident in what's going on is super high. So stay away from the person who has gone, especially you just said it. The first day of a big race, this person went 5 rounds, 6 rounds. Hey, come the next day, that person's going to be on a tear. I don't know why, but it's that confidence factor that you keep bringing up.
Well, it's because if for no other reason, even like just set aside even the fact they got all these extra runs and they got all these extra hits on the tree and all that stuff, set all that aside. It's just the sheer confidence level and the fact you already won all the money. You don't care anymore. You're just there to have fun now. So you can go up there and be like, I'm going to be 005. And if I'm red, I really don't care because I already won. Like it doesn't matter.
Well, you got to lose at that
There's
point.
a lot to say for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, go get it. You know what I'm saying? You're already there, especially like you just said, especially if you put a little coin in your pocket. So, yeah. But Steven Austin, thanks for tuning in. We glad you joined us here at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. He agrees with Kevinoid. Seat time, everybody, is the key. And you can't really take anything away from that. The more time you got in the seat, which I'm looking forward to doing myself, I'm very much so a rookie. I've been through a handful of races and a couple of big races. This is how I've been able to travel a little bit, have a little fun. But seat time wise, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Just that seat time. And we got our good man Jerry Bonifield in here. He says, regardless of what box you choose, just remember step 1: cut a hole in the box. I don't quite know what that means 100%, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about cutting a good light on the tree. You know what I mean? If you rip the tree down, it doesn't matter what you got going on. Take the tree
He's
with
got
you.
The Bonifields have the most sophisticated race car ever, and unless I don't know about this, they still have the original Dedenbear delay box still with the flip wheels and all that.
The
but
big ones where you push the buttons.
EFI, every sensor you can imagine, fancy dash that's looks like it should be in like a high-end Ferrari or something. All this stuff, car is immaculate, perfect everything.
It gets the job done.
Is immaculate. Everything is perfect. Old delay box. I don't know why they do that. I guess they're just keeping themselves grounded.
It gets the job done. Hey, but again, you and I both know Jerry personally, and sorry, Pops, if you watch this, Jerry's put my pop on a tree quite a few times. I hate running that Corvette. Anytime we're at a race, I hate running. So we bounced off of this earlier about your ride height. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. That old Dedenbear is still getting the job done. I wouldn't rip that son of a gun out neither if I'm 00 every single time. Forget it. Leave it in there and let her ride. I'm laughing. Kevin was laughing too. Everybody's laughing at that.
Yeah, Jeff says, "Yep, that is what they still have." He has confirmed it.
Yep. So, man, no, that's a very highly sophisticated car. We'll get you back on here pretty soon, Jerry. We'll schedule the data logger event that we have coming up, and one of these days we'll get it all out there because I'm highly interested in data logging. And Kevinoid, I think you might be headed that direction before too long too. I think you just put a whole grid system in your car, so definitely something that I'm looking forward to talking with you guys about, that getting into data. So Casey, man, what else you got for us today?
Man, back on that subject of the no box guys, the other thing I was thinking is, and I don't know if I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier, so tell me if I've said this already, but the fact that you can you make a run. So let's just say it's a normal night. This is not a big race, just normal night at the racetrack where they got top bulb, bottom bulb, and junior dragsters. If you run top bulb and bottom bulb, you go run top bulb, run that class, and your foot brake and all this, by the way. You run top bulb, come around, fill the car up, maybe get a little charge in it if you need it. Go run bottom bulb. You've just made a top bulb pass, so if absolutely nothing else, you've got a time run over there. You at least know what the car's going to run. True. Go right back up. That's an advantage.
All day. And I watched Gage Birch. He effectively lived out what you're talking about. He'd go run. I think it's a little Mustang. He looks like a Fox body. Anyway, he'd run. Mm-hmm.
That's
one
a good
round.
Looking one too.
It's a nice looking car, and I like how it leaves and just kind of travels out there and sets it down real gracefully. It doesn't come up real high. It's not a super high wheelie, but it's a real nice looking leave. I like how it leaves the line. Anyway, first one round, I think it was maybe fifth round or so. He's double O something low. Next rip up, he's double O again. So it's like, all right, he's effectively showing us, number one, I know what my car is going to run because I just ran less than 15 minutes ago before I got back up here. And number two, I was double O last time, so I just as well leave everything alone and be double O this time too. It's two colors. You ain't got nothing to lose, like you said. Um, so Dylan sends a comment to you. He says, "Don't try to complicate things, Casey. Just put whatever box works in and ride." He said, "Yeah, that works. That works." And
That's what I need.
Stephen Austin comes in and he says, "Kevin, you're not foot braking anymore." He said, "Just stop foot braking." Kevin is not foot braking anymore. He's got a box in his car, I believe, is what he's saying. So, man, I guess coming from Kevin, that's why he says get some seat time. You know what I mean?
So, man, the seat time is what it's all about, no matter what you're doing, and that's the one thing that no one can ever take away from Nick Hastings, because I heard a podcast with him on it. I think I heard either him or somebody talking about just the way he goes about stuff, because clearly he races for a living, and basically what he does is he shows up. I think he's got an LS based motor. Car's nice, but it's not anything spectacular. I think he said he puts like something nuts, like 1,000 runs on the bottom end or something insane. I mean, that seems like a lot, but I know it was above 600, which doesn't take him very long. He might do that in a year.
Right.
But he says he goes to the track. If they let him run a gambler's race, he's running a gambler's race. If they let him double it, he'll double it. If he can double any other race that's there, then he'll double that, or however many entries they'll let him have, he has them all. So he just run after run after run after run. And that's why he's effectively so good. And that's why he wins so much. But you got to watch that too, because you can, if you're not Nick Hastings and you're not going to win every other weekend, then you can very easily spend a whole bunch of money and not do anything with it. Because even though you win a 50 grander, don't forget that July to August in that area, that there was $30-something thousand of entry fees that you could have spent for 4 races for 4 weeks.
Right.
So that 50 grander didn't go very far after you paid taxes on it, if you're doing that kind of stuff.
Right. But you're 100% right. And these racers are entering everything multiple times. So, and we're going to go back to Stephen Austin here. I guess him and Kevinoid used to go at it on the bottom pretty hard. So, great topic for those two to be here for today. You know what I mean? 2 bottom bulbers themselves. But you're definitely 100% spot on. I'm starting to wonder, is the only way to win these big money bracket races, is it to have multiple entries? I don't know if that's the key, but seemingly most everybody who wins these races are coming in with more than one entry. Seemingly, I don't know of anybody who's actually won either the guaranteed Great American or any of the other ones without being double entered.
I would say that that the margin is slim. I wouldn't say nobody's done it, because I know people go deep with one, but there's always one you need to get away with, or a run. I mean, we've all had those runs where it literally would have beat anyone else but that guy, And I mean, I think that double entries, in my opinion, I have no problem with double entries. In fact, if I have the cash at the time, I'll double enter. I just double entered at Galot's regular race last weekend. Didn't work out for me, but I did it. There's a lot of people that do, because the thing is, number one, it puts more money in the promoter and or track's pocket. So that's good.
Right.
Because it keeps them open, keeps everybody happy. A lot of times they'll increase the purse because of it. Galot does it all the time. If they get a ton of cars, they'll increase the purse. And I'm not talking to increase it like a couple $100. I'm talking a couple $1,000. So, but the other thing is that I think that double entries, when possible, and Galot does this for the most part, until like 3rd round, they guarantee double entries will get called separately. Now, that's not to say that you can't come up late and accidentally end up with someone else, or you come up early and end up with the doubles. But I think that the way to make that the most fair would just be saying, if you're double entered, double entries always run together. But I don't think that's possible. That'd just slow things down too much.
And I don't think I think you're right. I don't know if it'll slow it down either. But at least one entry, if you're double entered, one entry has to be ran against another double entered car. That's fair to
Mm-hmm.
me. And I think that a
Yeah,
lot of people are starting to head that direction. I think SFG might be doing that. I know he calls up doubles sometime, double entries. You hear a lot of these bigger races starting to call double entries together. And I'm pretty sure. I think you said Galat does that, and I think I remember hearing that maybe on one of the videos you sent to me about Galat making a call to call doubles together. It's gonna even the playing field, but either way you look at it, that car has been down the track one extra time more than you before you're about to race him or her. Their data is going to be substantially better than yours if this is the first round, especially.
but while double entries are an advantage, I would say, I mean, double entries are an advantage throughout the majority of the race. But once you start getting down to about 32 cars, if you're still doubled, double entry is actually bad for you because your transmission's getting hot. You're hurrying up. Maybe you forget to. I mean, you could forget to do anything. You're just. I've been in that situation where I got to keep my helmet on, get in the other car, and just go straight to the lanes, or you could forget to put fuel in this car because you're running around too much. I mean, we all make fun of Corey Galletti for doing that multiple times, but I mean, that guy went a bunch of rounds too. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like once you get down in the rounds, if you don't have help there, you could get in trouble really quick too.
Yeah, and you just said what I was gonna say. There's a good thing that like you have a wife. I know she's a rookie to the sport. Hey, Laura, I know you're gonna catch on very soon, but that little bit of an extra brain or set of extra pair of eyes is the difference in between I forgot to put the fuel cap on, number one. Okay, because the fuel cap will bite you faster than anything else, especially if it's not on the track when it comes off, because
Or
fuel
if it's in a
dries up really quick.
dragster,
Mm-hmm.
it's if it's in a dragster and you leave, that's dangerous.
Dangerous. It's gonna
That's
fly.
fire.
Yes. So you definitely need. If you're lucky, you have somebody there. My wife's going to be there to help me. And at the same time, these double entered cars, I'm pretty sure they go into it. Most of the time, they've done it enough times. But secondly, I'm sure most of them are going to have some type of assistant there to help them as well. If you don't and you're doing it all solo, then definitely I'll take my hat off to you again, because there's a lot of attention to detail. Like you said, you left your helmet on. Hey man, you don't know what's going on. Number one, the shield on
Yep.
that thing's probably fogging up if you got one on it because you're breathing so heavy running around. You know what I mean? So I think I take my chances. However, give me two colors and let me go down to 32 cars. Hey man,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yep.
I would like the opportunity to mess up in that situation. Hopefully I
At
don't
the
mess
end of the
up,
day,
but
at the end of the day, you got two checks.
you got
So
two. So
you
it's like,
can't,
all right,
you know,
well, hmm, hmm. You know what would be neat though is to run into the situation to where you got two colors left and you don't have to race yourself all the way down to the final. That'd be pretty neat. I
yep.
want to I want to wind up that person one. I want to be that person one day. What about you?
Man, that's so hard to do. I've been
Yeah.
close. I've been close one time. I think I was either two or maybe even three cars at like 8 cars left or something. And I ended up having to run myself one of them, which was actually good because that gave the car a chance to cool off. But that was closest I ever got. And then I lost that one next, and then luckily took the other one all the way or pretty close, something like that. But I've never ran myself in the final. Uh, I'd like to run my old man in the final at some point. I got real close with that one time, but we met in semis. So that's
who
tough, man.
who
That's
won?
that's a lot of stuff to fall the right way.
Who won? Who won?
Oh, that was the one where I beat him because I beat him and I red lighted so bad, but I was dialed too faster than him, and he red lighted first, but I almost red lighted faster than him.
Hey, so tell the truth. Were you extra pumped up because it was your dad in the other lane? Can you? I know you remember
I,
it like yesterday.
I don't I don't know, man. That was I mean I think I was 16 maybe when that was. That's been a
Jeez.
while ago, man. That's half a life ago almost. So
Yeah. No,
I don't remember, but that's probably the case.
I share
He
that
was
one with you.
probably messing with me.
I share that one with you. I definitely like to run my old man in the final, or or somewhere close to the final, better than anywhere near the first round. Of course, you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
um,
I'd like to beat Jerry Bonifield at some point. That would be ideal.
yeah. Steven says Bobby Materno was like that this weekend at Piedmont, so he took a couple of colors with him and ran around, throughout the whole event, keeping his helmet on, fire suit, everything. Probably just shot the tires with a little bit of air. Probably didn't even need to, but just to make sure when he got up there he could check them and let them down where they needed to be. But he was running around at Piedmont this week, so hey, great job out there, Bobby. If you're listening to us, great job over at Piedmont.
That
No
might have
box
been that
keys.
Opal.
Could have been. I have no clue. Like I said, most of my time spent was in Bradenton, wishing that I was number one in Bradenton, not just for drag racing, but I think Kyle went live maybe 3 or 4 times on the beach, and man, that beach looked just wonderful. Just let me out there. I've been in Texas. I haven't been away from Texas too long here lately. Um, Steven says Bobby went down to 4 cars with 2 entries. So it was some good drag racing going on over in Piedmont. That's the second we've heard to do that. Nick, you said the guy who raced Nick Hastings
I don't
twice?
think that was the same. That wasn't the same guy then that I'm thinking of, because if anybody out there knows who was the guy with the Opal that
It's
was
him.
running in the semis, that was him.
Yeah, Steven
So
said
that
it
was the
was it. It was. It
semis.
was. Yep.
So that was, he ran Hastings in the semis, and then he ran him in the finals, and Hastings got him both times. But
Man. Hey, that has to be. I wonder what the slip showed. I wonder what Hastings was back to back, and then I wonder
well, the
what
first
Bobby was to
in
come back against him.
in the semis, Hastings was 001, I think.
Ouch. Yeah.
So
Ouch.
yeah, talk about seat time.
Ouch.
That's seat time.
And then to make it even worse, you got to race him again. So you're looking at the time. So like, dang, he was 001. What the heck am I gonna do right here? So in the final, did he go red or what happened?
In the final, I'm not sure, but I think Hastings was 9 or something in the final.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I mean, you see why he's always winning these top bulb races too. I mean, I don't know if I was him, if he's doing that off the foot, why would you ever put a delay box in there?
Let me help you. Stephen Austin says Hastings was 001 in the semis, 002 in the final.
Well, that'll do it. Man,
Yeah.
that guy in that Opal was probably like, come on, man.
I can't do nothing with that. What am I supposed
Yeah.
to do with that? You know? Oh, man. Kevin is going to Bradenton. I'm pretty sure he's going to be at the 500, so he's probably going to be at that beach. I think is what he's saying. He says, I will be in Bradenton for the 500K. I wish. I know my old man's going to be there. I looked at flights, and I think it's like $499 to get there or something like that. So, yeah, I'll be staying at home saving some entry fee money instead of going. So, yeah, man. No, what do we got to close out today? This has been one heck of a stream. I'm real impressed by the no box. I'll start it off, I guess. I'm impressed by no box. Um, do I think I can do it? I do think I can hit some lights on the bottom. I've never tried it in a real drag car, to be honest. I have in street cars, and it's like, man, if you don't get off the gas as soon as the third light coming on, you dog late. So I'm pretty sure it's a whole lot different when you got more horsepower leaving the line. So hats off to the no break to the top bulb, or excuse me, the no box guys. I'm fumbling my words. The foot swappers, whatever you do, you got me discombobulated right now. But hats off to you guys. Definitely a good job to those of you who got down to some money this weekend in your cars. Certainly a big time shout out to that kid who won back to back at the SFG. So yeah, I'm pretty well. That's all I got for a recap. Casey, what you got?
Just say, man, I'm just glad that we're finally to the part of the season where if we can't go racing, at least there's racing to watch on YouTube. Finally, Motor Mania. I'll say it over and over and over again. Motor Mania is the best thing that's ever happened in bracket racing, hands down. Next to what the promoters are doing for them to even cover it, but basically, thanks Motor Mania for allowing us to actually watch all this stuff for free.
Right, right, and especially to the promoters, if you guys are paying them, we thank you guys for that. However, they're getting it done, I don't really care. Keep it happening. Motor Mania is definitely my pill through Friday. Whenever it's a long day and I can hear the burnouts going on in my headphones or turn on the drag racing. And real quick, my last comment for today, Steven says, no box and foot braking. It ain't the same thing. We talked about that
He's
one
right.
time, didn't we? We talked about that on a stream, and I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%. So, as always, before we get out of here at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, we like to give a shout out to our sponsor over there at Rhino. You can find them on Facebook at rhino.classifieds. They do have a page over there. Definitely check them out at rhino.co. Log in there, look me up. My screen name is GH Junior. Find me on there. It's definitely the social media of car parts, selling race car parts. So it's a special shout out to you guys. Thanks for all you do for us over here. And we're always gonna shout out our good friend over at Firecracker Performance. We thank you guys for what you do for the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Certainly, if you're looking to help out in any way, you want your product shouted out on the Going Bracket Racing channel, just give us a call there or send us a message in our inbox. We love to showcase new product, new parts. Maybe you have a new website. We had Bracket Life on last week. Certainly check him out over at Bracket Life. I believe it's bracketlife.com. Don't get me wrong there. I'll have it. If you need it, give me a call. But certainly check them out. And shout us out if you ever want to get your product on our channel. Let us shout it out to our fans there. Casey, got any closing remarks?
See everybody next week.
See everybody. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.